In this example, we're going to take the parent function, which happens to be a cubic function. This may be a function you're less familiar with. For each input x, we find the output f of x. I've already indicated some points on the graph. Remember, the parent function is x cubed. We're going to take the input and cube it. So if we input 0 and we cube 0, we actually get 0 out. Because 0 times anything is just 0. And I've already plotted that point here. That's going to be at the origin. And this is before we've translated to -1, 4. We're really going to be moving the entire function, and you'll see that in just a minute. We'll do it in green. But we're going to take that origin position, 0, 0, and we're going to be moving it to -1, 4. But let's plot some more points on the parent function so that we make sure we understand the cubic function. So if we input a 1 into a cubic function, that would mean that we would have up here, we'd have 1 times 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is just 1. So the output is 1, and you see that point plotted here. If we input a -1 into a cubic function, then these 1s all become negative. So I'll just put a negative in front. And -1 times -1, this here is a positive 1. And a positive times a negative is always a negative. So the output would be a -1. And you see that point here. So I've already plotted those points. Now let's imagine that we input +2. We input +2, our function would become 2 cubed, which means we multiply 2 together 3 times. And 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So the output is 8. So we have 2, 8 up here. And down here we have -2. So what happens? We input -2. Again, just like before, these 2's, we add in a negative for each of these 2's. And a negative times a negative is a positive, but then when you take a positive, so this would be positive, but then when you multiply that by a -2, you get -8 out. And so we get -8. And so you see that point down here, -2, -8. This is what the parent cubic function looks like. But we're going to translate this so that this point here is now at -1, 4. So I'm going to do that in green. I'm going to show you this is -1, 4. The center of the function now is going to be through that line there. And so if we went over 1, down 1, we'd get another point, over 1, up 1. And then we know if we go away 2, we go down 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we'd get another point on the curve. And so let me go down and make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excuse me. I don't think I went down. So 5, so 4 and 4, okay, so it'd be right here. So the curve is going to look like that. And that's the translated cubic function. And you could translate individual points. For instance, if we took 0, 0 on the original curve and we add -1, 4, we'd get -1, 4 as discussed. So this point right here is -1, 4. And we could do that for any of the points on the red curve. So if we wanted to translate this point here to 8, we would subtract 1 from 2 and get 1, add 4, and we would get 12. Of course, that's off of our board, so we weren't that specific with this example.